Man, what's up with it, world? It's your man's and the Toothless Wonder, reporting on the Bamboozle Again News Network with my Carlton Banks sweater on today. you know, with all the stuff going on in the world, I try to report the news as I know it to be with a spiritual aspect. Bring y'all into my mind and perceptions along my journey, right? And true transparency. You know what I mean? I'll come on this joint and admit it when I'm wrong. Things I've learned, things I thought to be true and weren't. You know what I mean? And I guess, in some varying level of degree, we're all along a path of just enlightenment and awakening. And there are levels to it, you know what I'm saying? So with all the stuff going on, like I talked about last night in my extra spooky X-Files type video about, the German government, the French government collapsing in the sense of like the people don't want. I couldn't really get into it. Something about a no vote election or something to that effect. Martial law, in South Korea, the Syrian president basically just saying, I quit and rolled out. I also saw there was a tornado in San Francisco, you know what I'm saying? Like all these varying odd things going on. Like, Earth is very perplexing, you know what I'm saying? Everything is just flip-floppity at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like, San Francisco will have a tornado, which typically don't happen. And here in Maryland, we'll mess around and have a mudslide out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, even through social media, those like certain brothers who I thought to be, they ain't nobody perfect, but genuine and real and, about what they say they about, a plethora of them have come to be just using various talking points in a chameleon sense, but don't live nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? Or actually practice the complete polar exact opposite in real life. You know what I'm saying? We're just getting to this point where you don't know what to believe, what's real, what ain't. But ain't nothing to figure out though. Like what they call that information overload, where you take in so much information, you're kind of paralyzed as to processing it and making sense of it all. I think I was going through that to some uh, degree. You know what I'm saying? All the information we need, the instructions for living life are in the word, yo. Like, it seems to me odd, right? It's not odd, but because we've been ingratiated into this matrix of 9 to 5 culture, or the things they tell us are fulfilling, and then we see it all crumbling. Or like with me, I delved into a plethora of things and found it was fool's gold, or it wasn't nothing I could hang my hat on, or it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like when I had a short season of womanizing. I mean, yeah, ego boost among, the low vibers. But I'm like, all the stress it caused, I'm like, I don't even see why brother do this. You know what I'm saying? For myself, you know what I mean? Even in, let's say, like I'm noticing some similarity between like drug hustling and the music industry, where you might be allowed, or however you play it, to run for a minute. But then they just indict you and take all your money and resources, and then you left butt naked. You know what I'm saying? And then typically the people you made, you can't put up in your name, or you might, let people hold your money or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But then typically they take it because, out of sight, out of mind. So typically you come out with nothing, and then you hop on podcasts talking about the stuff you did 20 years ago. And more oftentimes, and I've seen a few brothers do it, but you tell the story in a glorifying sense. Not, oh, yeah, it was cool for 5 years, but I just lost 20 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? Or in the music industry, let's say they do these various rituals there at the zenith of social status and so on and so forth. And then when you're no longer useful, they just come in with some scandal, whether it's real or fabricated. Tear you up, pull your corporate sponsorship, because that's where your finance come from, them corporate entities. It's a plantation construct. Strip you butt naked, destroy your image and legacy. And then through the court systems or however they do that, just take all the money back. Like Kanye said, drug dealer buy clothes, crackhead buy crack, and the white man get paid off of all of that. But what I find more fascinating me myself with all that going on is these orbs, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I always liked it. Like when I was young, I was intrigued by, sci-fi stuff. Stargate, SG9, the X-Files, Unsolved Mysteries, things that are beyond the regular scope of existence in America. Where I think, through the food and entertainment, they do keep you dumbed down, so you can't even let your mind like that. Like when I grew up, like in the country, like it was so country. Like at night, if I went outside, like if I hold my hand, I couldn't see my hand. It was that dark. So it made my mind wander, into, just imagination land. And now we're in that space. And I believe this to be just the tip of the iceberg. Now, I can't quantify exactly what it is, but I think it's just a prelude of things to come. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited, yo. Why? I mean, it's almost like a little kid again. And I know the Bible talks about us, like we can't inherit the kingdom unless we become like little children. But okay, what that mean? When you're little, like you're not necessarily worried about bills or the responsibilities of life. You kind of just, like, I never thought about how my people paying bills wasn't even in my scope of imagination. I just had faith that when I wake up, some cereal and, some eggs and whatnot gonna be on the table, yeah. I just had faith the lights was gonna come on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe others have grown up differently, but for me, you just, like, if you get into something, you just somehow know your caretakers are gonna solve the problem for you or get you out of it, or they just know what to do. And with the softening in my heart, I'm just like a little kid again, like I had a little situation today. I talked about it on here, right? It wasn't the whole giddy up. It was a preliminary demonstration, right? So I started thinking about what I'm gonna say. I'm like, I ain't know, because then it brought me back to the word where it say, if you're brought before the court, he'll put the words in your mouth. I'm paraphrasing. And then I was thinking about Yeshua when he went before, who was that, Pontius Pilate, and he asked him, was he king of the Jews? And he just didn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting into that space where I'm losing the desire to not defend myself, but vindicate myself. I'm getting out of this space of trying to figure everything out. Whatever's presented to me, I just deal with it, handle it. I did what I can do. You know what I'm saying? All this will of mine to somehow will myself or position myself to be a super duper Negro that they write in the history books. I still had that desire, but I'm done thinking I can attempt to facilitate that. In the sense of, okay, let's say David, he's anointed to be king, but he doesn't then run for political office or hand out flowers or give out sandwiches to get the people's support. The journey to his kingship was already laid out, and he was trained, in it doing menial tasks. Joseph, he didn't, he knew he had the dream that his brothers were going to bow down before him. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't try to facilitate that through his own cunning, intellect, power, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's meant for, and I'm under this belief, speaking for myself, and it may apply to others. And I do believe you're supposed to strive and make the most of life, put your best foot forward, as they say. But ultimately, whatever the Most High got for you to do, which should be, I'm under this belief, for His glory and to service of others or whomever you're called to, minister to or whatever the case may be, the door gets open as you continue to do what you're supposed to do. I think the manifestation, quote unquote, of whatever my purpose is, the key is spiritual. You see what I'm saying? Just like with me here now, right? I never wanted to come back to this particular small town, right? That was nowhere in my plans and got led back here, even if that I didn't. But because of the journey prior, it gave me the requisite skill set to be able to function in a place that typically made me dysfunctional. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just more inclined to just walk this journey out, this path out, you know what I'm saying? With patience and endurance, you know what I mean? All this trying to, and even as we see the world seemingly collapsing around us, it don't move me now which way. Now, if I get, okay, well, I don't have land per se. I'd have access to land, but, well, how I'm going to do this or how I'm going to grow this at this time. He done all, like, it said the Most High made the end before the beginning, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He done took care of me all this time. And really, whatever, because I want this proverbial next level so bad, right? Because of that, it does tend to, you kind of try to and push it in there and do all like that there. But the breakthrough that led me here wasn't by my own hand. And if I got it when I wanted it, it wouldn't have positioned me to do what I'm doing now, which is like have my child, you know what I'm saying? Be able to give back to those who've been instrumental in my journey, you know, prayer warriors who, I'm pretty sure they gave up at some point, but they gave up and gave me to the Most High, because we done all we can do for the man, you know what I'm saying? Typically, me and wisdom don't go in the same sentence. Maybe me and intellect or something along those lines, but typically me and wisdom, as far as moving about with myself and the world around me in a wise manner, that's a new skill I've just got within, let's say, the last 4 years. Typically, I'm the fool with it, but I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? The tolerable fool, for the most part. The good-hearted fool, you know what I'm saying? But a fool nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? And that's all prayer to the Most High. Because I could, like, I would envision, like, certain skills I might need, or, like, you know, fix myself, you know, in the financial system or something. Like, I envisioned that, and I made steps and work towards that. But even if he had told me what kind of character I was going to need, or disposition, mentality, even if he told me that, there's no way I could have made myself that in and of myself. It was the journey, the environment, because he know me better than I know myself. So if I put him in this type of environment for this long, it'll hone this skill, or at this time he'll let go of this. It's no different than a seed or a plant blooming in due season. Yeah. And my aunt told me one time I'm a late bloomer, but as far as my internal, mental, emotional growth has been exponential. So let's say, you know, financially or what, I'd like to be in a better position. Probably we all do, right? But I'm able to manage whatever position I'm in because I was trained in it throughout all this long journey of sobriety when I couldn't make sense of nothing. Why I gotta be isolated? Why I done did folk right? If I did them wrong, I apologize generally, made a man. You know what I'm saying? Why, da, da, da. But now at a time where everyone's being herded into social groups or groupthink and so on and so forth, the very thing that I used to complain to the Most High about is the very thing that keep me safe, and I actually enjoy my own company. I now have a relationship with myself. You know what I'm saying? All things, again, work for the good of those who love y'all and are called according to his purpose. Now, all these fantastic, and I still got them, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just not so hard off on it, you know what I mean? Man, whatever Most High, I'm cool with it. So now he done brought me through the journey and like certain things I delved into not working, that I finally get to this point of acceptance. And then behind acceptance comes surrender. You done took care of me all this time when I was dead wrong. You see what I'm saying? And I'm noticing like my concept of time is, I don't even know how to articulate it. I don't know if it's fractioning or like what seemed like, I don't know, 2 days. It's just weird. It almost feels like I'm kind of in the metaverse to some degree. What was last week don't really seem like last week. It might seem like 3 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Or what took place 6 months might seem years ago. You know what I'm saying? That might be another reason why I got the message about moving on. Because let's say last time I was at the job, that was what, 9 months ago? But it actually feels longer than that, because as I'm constantly evolving and adapting, the version of me who was at that job is different now. You see what I'm saying? So I don't really have a connection to it. Now, a previous version of myself who was still growing and so on and so forth does. But then I have to kind of put myself back in that space, to put myself back in that emotion, to kind of relive that or whatever I learned when it's time to move on. You see what I'm saying? And I've moved on like into other aspects of life, so on and so forth. But because of how I'm kind of constructed mentally, when I see atrocities or the vulnerable being taken advantage of in my mind for financial gain, it gives me a real issue with that. So through the subtlety of it, I was tempted to stay attached to something because of previous actions when I've been free from all of that and been found, worthy, if that's the word you want to use, to move on when I seen it trap everybody else up. Watch out that now. It's real in the battlefield, baby. So I just get praise the Most High. Because trust and believe, I'm not the most righteous individual here. I darn sure be trying. I darn sure be learning. I darn sure be, struggling forward, right? But sometimes I be like, man, why me, yo? I should have took the drop like everybody else. Or I should have got wrapped up at, you know what I'm saying? No matter the whole host of minefields that got set up, especially for the Negro man. The court systems, whether it be civil or criminal, you know what I mean? Financial pitfalls, you know what I'm saying? The turncoat homeboys, you know what I mean? Your own devices and so on and so forth. At one point I said, good God of mercy. When I realized after I was out of it, look back on the situation, I said, good God of mercy, I was surrounded by wolves and zombies and knew it not. But at the time, I was just moving in a way almost intuitively. I couldn't quantify it at the time. But I just know, yeah, you talk some good yin yang, but I still don't feel like fooling with you. You know what I'm saying? And then people will say, like, well, why don't you? That's an opportunity I can't even give it to you. I just don't want to do it. And it do seem like that. But something inside me saying, nah, we good, cuz. What you gonna do? I don't know. But I ain't doing that and have no reason as to why I'm not doing that other than something inside of me telling me not to do it. Even though, outwardly speaking, it looked great. You know what I'm saying? And I keep going, not because I'm holding on, but that's the last reference point for a lot of things that I learned. You know what I'm saying? Like my ability to let go. I'm just learning how to let go in other aspects of life and spirituality. But having, I believe, mastered that lesson, now I take it a step further and I start attempting to master it in other areas of life. So I can walk away from people and don't think nothing about it. But can I walk away from mental constructs that I come to be revealed to me don't suit me none? You know what I'm saying? Can I walk away from because of prior life experience, my desire to vindicate myself under my own hand? No one in the world what to say about that. Can I walk away from that? Which is kind of extra hard because in my mind, it seems justified. You should do that. If you ask anybody else, they would tell you to do it, who's not of a certain spiritual inkling. You see what I'm saying? But then you got that one small, like I had situations where though, if I put this move together, which don't take much, it would have, got the people to stop doing whatever, right? But it would have also instituted collateral damage. So I don't know if you check my material out on here or whatever, but like a couple weeks ago, I believe I was talking about like sparking and having warfare in my spirit and taking on a warfare mentality, not spiritually, but in my mind. So I perceive who you are, and I'm gonna set up the chess pieces, like almost like Colombiana. You're exactly where I knew you would be. You know what I mean? And it would have caused collateral damage. But then in my mind, in war, that's what happened. And if it were on the other side, they wouldn't care nothing about causing no collateral damage to me. But see how subtle that is? Now, I'm stooping to their level. I'm not fighting the war on my terms. Scratch that. I'm not fighting the war along spiritual terms, because this is all spiritual warfare at this point. Now I'm blended over into that aspect of it. Like I'm seeing whatever's happening like in the physical realm, but now I'm understanding the application of how to maneuver these various physical or material aspects of life in a spiritual lens. Like a good soldier, like he don't reason with the general or debate with him back and forth. Do this, which is actually easier, just like a little kid, because it take all the thought process out of it. And then you're going to end up confusing yourself. That's why he the general. And he's got to be the general because he worked himself up through the ranks to know what he's doing. You see what I'm saying? You just a soul. It's just easier to follow orders. You know what I mean? Spiritual orders, for that matter. And it might not make sense. Again, I gotta go back to my master sensei when he told me this back in 2016. It don't have to, you don't have to understand it for it to work. You just gotta do it. And on that note, man, I'ma holler at y'all. Ooh.